Hey guys, welcome back to RG Sisters. You haven't seen me in a while, and I haven't actually filmed a sit down video in, I think my last one was like the leotard haul, and that was like beginning of last year, I think. But we're here, and let's talk. So there is like a bunch of stuff we need to talk about, and I feel like for today's video we should focus on injuries, defeats, and like competition stuff, since we're in the competition season right now. So yeah, let's get into it. So as you just saw, I have crutches. Don't worry, it's not a big deal. I sprained my ankle at gymnastics, I think a couple days ago, and it is getting better. I can put a little bit of pressure on it, but when it first happened, so like 2-3 days ago, I couldn't put any pressure on it, and that's why the doctor gave me crutches. But as I don't know if some of you know, I have had a couple of big injuries. I wouldn't say they were huge and like life-threatening, of course. It was like, but it did give me a setback, and I think that's really important in gymnastics because that just helps you work harder and stuff. But let's start at the beginning of my injury journey. So when I first started gymnastics, healthy, like didn't really hurt anything, break anything. So that was good until level 6. I was about 9 or 10, I believe, and thank God it was in the middle of the season. It was actually before, I think it was like September-ish, so we still had a couple months. But I fractured my right foot. So I remember when it first happened, I don't even think it was this summer, but just in the beginning of the season, my foot started to hurt, and we put ice on it and took like ibuprofen and stuff, and I just kept training on it. I kept doing what I was doing because, you know, we like my mom, my coach, like even me just thought that it was just my ankle, nothing big, couple weeks will go by, it'll stop. And it did like stop hurting for just a little bit, but then it kept coming back. And I remember this one instant where after gymnastics I came home and my dad, I was like crying because it hurt so bad, and my dad's like, do you want to go to the emergency room? And I was like, no, I bet it's just like I'm tired, like, you know, just like let's wait until the morning. And in that moment I was like, maybe I should have gone to the emergency room. But we waited a little bit more, but then we went to like a foot doctor and got an x-ray. And I remember this very specifically, they called my mom out of the room that we were in. So I was in my room, I was like, what's going on, why are they calling my mom out? And she comes back in, and the doctor comes back with like a boot. I was like, did I break my leg? And they're like, so you have a fracture in your foot, you'll wear your boot for like 2 to 3 weeks, and then you'll come back and we'll see. I was very like weird about it. I was like, at one point I'm like, I want there to be an injury just because it hurts so bad, so like there has to be like an outcome from it. But at one point I'm like, I can't do gymnastics for 2 to 3 weeks. And when I was in the doctor, I was like, oh, it's not that bad, like I'll have it off in no time. But then I remember we went back into the car, my mom called my dad, like told him what happened, and then I started like, I wouldn't say bawling my eyes out, but I was crying. And at that moment I realized like I want to do gymnastics, like that's something that I want to do, I don't want to quit. So at one point, yes, that was a setback for me, but then when I came back, I would say level 6 was like my prime year. I had like good energy, like I kept going. I would say it was one of my more successful years. If I never had that injury, I wouldn't work as hard to like get back into like into my shape, work better on my jumps, like get better flexibility. And I would say that year I learned a lot of new elements like Pontryagin leve, switch split, probably some other turns. The second injury that I remember at least was, I think it was last year. There might have been more, but the one that I remember was last year. And I remember the whole season I was really good. It was like my prime time again. But this one, my injury was in the middle of the season, so that was bad. But I remember it was MA States, and it was the day before MA States, and I came in and my foot hurt really bad. And it was swollen too. So that practice before the day before MA States, I was literally not even standing on my foot. So, and I did MA States. I competed because I don't like to miss out competitions. But I competed at States, and then I think a couple weeks later we went to the doctor, and it was for my foot and for my hips. So for my foot, they did an x-ray. They said, we don't really see anything, but if it's bothering her, like, let's get an MRI. And then for my hips, they did an x-ray, and they saw that like my bone or something, it was like not, it was a normal hip, but it was like the socket like wasn't covering or something, so every time I did something it would like click and it would scrape it off. But we'll get to my hips later. So we went to get an MRI on my foot, and they saw that there was a very minor I don't even think it was a fracture. It was like a pre-stress fracture, which I don't know if that makes sense, but what they initially said is that if I keep going, it's gonna be fractured, so put it in a boot right now so it doesn't like hurt later on. But it was like, honestly, I think it was 2 weeks before classics. And if you don't know what classics is, it's pretty much like regionals for level 9, because level 9 doesn't have regionals, they have classics, so that's pretty much it. But I was in a boot during the day, so I went to school in a boot, and then I would go to gymnastics, take off the boot, and I would practice. I'm not sure if I fully took off the boot for a while, but because it was classics I wanted to go, so I did take off the boot. Of course I didn't do jumps and stuff on it, but I did everything. Like I did turns, balances on it, like I was standing on my foot. Of course I like doing tosses and stuff. And I went to classics actually with a boot on. I was on the plane in a boot, and then I was walking around in a boot. When it came to competition time, I just went there, competed, and then put it back in a boot. So it didn't hurt, you know. And honestly, because of the adrenaline, you don't really feel pain at that point. You're just like, I need to do my routine. And now, I was at gymnastics on Wednesday. It's currently Saturday. And everything was going good. Even like my penché was like I was kicking, it was like doing well. Like my routines were going good. And then I did a toss, and I don't even know how it happened because it was so like quick, and I was like, but I was initially doing a toss with my ribbon, and it like twisted or like flipped. I don't even know what happened, but it like it was sprained, like I sprained my ankle, and it hurt so bad. So I went up to the coach, I was like, can I have ice, blah blah. I sat down for the rest of practice, put ice on it, and I went home, and I was like, this really hurts, like I can't stand on it. So then the next day I woke up and I physically couldn't flex it, couldn't point it, so we went to the doctor and we got an x-ray done, and thank God nothing was fractured, broken, and he was like, it's just a sprain. So he gave me the crutches that I have right now. He was like, stay off of it for 1 to 2 weeks, and then like it'll be fine. It's already getting better. Like I can stand on it, I just can't walk because it's my ankle. It like hurts to like put pressure on it. but I'll be fine in like 2-3 days. Anyways, let's move on to my hips. So I would say COVID is when it like kind of started. I would say like after COVID, but my hips like really hurt, and they hurt right now too. Like not in resting, just like when I do stuff. I'm just like working through the pain because I have to. I did something, or what I was explaining, the socket and the like, I don't know, like a ball of bone, it keeps like rubbing like this part, and it's like the tissue. So it hurt really bad, so I got injections into my hip, and they did help for a while, but now they wore off. But it's not horrible. It's bad, but it could be worse. But those are my injuries. There might have been some like minor injuries in the middle, but I don't really remember them that well. Are we good? Okay, well, but let's go into defeats and competitions. I honestly think losing is one of like the best lessons you'll ever learn in a sport. If you're losing, that gives you character, that gives you drive, that gives you motivation. And I remember this one competition specifically. I went to the competition going in as like, I have a lot of changes in my routines. This is a tryout competition, and I'm just gonna try all my things out to make sure they're good for like regionals and stuff. I was level 6, and I did all 4 routines clean, and I managed to get 3rd all around, and there were some really good girls. I just remember that win, even though I didn't get 1st place, was so important to me, because I did the best I could, and like that just made me happy. And I remember I got like a 13 for like ribbon or something, and we were all going crazy because like I've never got a 13, like especially level 6. But 13, I was in shock. I was like, so that was my little spiel on competitions and injuries. And if you are going through an injury or are feeling defeated, I definitely just want to like encourage you to keep moving forward, and just remember that the universe will take care of it. You know what I mean? That's what I always remind myself. I think that universe like has me injured for a reason, has me lose for a reason, has me win for a reason. So just remember that if you work hard and you do everything you need to do, you will be successful. Hopefully I'll be on doing gymnastics really soon, because I honestly, it's been 3 classes, like I missed 3 classes. I'm already missing it so much. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I know we haven't been posting, but let us know in the comments what you want to hear from, and if you like these kind of sit down little videos. So I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. That's a wrap. Oh my god.